Americano a Roma, Daniel Vicker.
I'm here with Pascal Vicedomini. We're here in Hollywood. Everything is virtual, but not everything is virtual because we're showing movies tonight at the Chinese Theater as part of the Los Angeles Film Festival. Tonight it's 3 films. Nightfire by Brando Benetton is showing. We just were talking with the director, Giorgio Doriti, of Hidden Away, which will be showing at 7 o'clock tonight in the Chinese Theater. And yesterday we were with Giorgio Verdelli, and so with his documentary about the singer and composer Paolo Conti, Dia con me.
Yes, but not only today we're showing. We are working since Sunday, showing Italian best movie of the year at the Chinese Theater and as well as on 2 platforms, eventive.org and mymovies.it. The best production of the year, and also many young small work, shortcut produced and directed by young Italian filmmakers and Italian in the world filmmakers that we selected through the global platform filmfreeway.com. Yes, because Daniel, today it's very easy to collect new filmmakers with these international platforms that hooks the best event of the year and ask to join. You have to think that for Capri Hollywood, we had 1,600 applications for movies to be shown by 95 countries. Can you believe? I could never believe that Capri Hollywood was popular in 95 countries.
So these are all about friendship and an art, and it certainly seems to be attracting filmmakers from all over the world. But we also have a great group of filmmakers and film artists that are joining us here in this segment.
Yes, absolutely. We are very proud to have with us 3 true icons of the Italian show business, because we have one of the director who actually had his movie remade in so many countries. He will tell us, Paolo Genovese. Then we have the most successful Italian producer ever, because we have Eugenio Straffi with his amazing job he did with all the before just animation Wings, then now with the live action. His production is on the top of the ranking of Netflix ever seen, one of the most ever seen series. And then we have Luca Barbareschi, who actually is the most, let me say, the most international actor and entrepreneur of the show business Italian, because he's an actor, he's a director, he's an entrepreneur, he directed theater, and he sold the format for television to the American. He's somebody that really made a difference. Then we have with us Elisabetta Sgarbi, who is an editor, is a director, and he just launched the group Extra Liscio, which we will talk about. And then we have another phenomenal artist, Pino Insegno, who actually is the person that makes many international talents popular in Italy. I would like to remember one on everybody, Viggo Mortensen, on the movie Green Book, that in Italy has a Pino Insegno voice. So let me first of all welcome Elisabetta, because we are gentlemen, and of course we want a lady be first. So Elisabetta, what about this work Extra Liscio? Devi attivare il microfono, Elisabetta.
Senti? Mi senti?
Yes.
There we go.
Bene. No, Extra Liscio è una parola incantata oggi, perché è un gruppo musicale che io ho conosciuto circa un anno fa e mi ha subito affascinato, perché ho sentito fin dalla prima volta che stavo di fronte a un gruppo di musicisti che sono Mirko Mariani, che è il leader di questo gruppo, Mauro Ferrara e Moreno il Biondo, che sono musicisti di grandissima professionalità, sono musicisti rigorosi, estrosi, ma sono anche dei musicisti straordinari perché estremamente generosi. Loro suonano per il pubblico e ho capito subito che il palco, più che la sala di incisione, è il loro regno, e per cui ho voluto raccontarli e li ho raccontati in questo film che ho portato poi a Venezia e che ha avuto il premio Fice e il premio SIAE, li ho raccontati così, raccontando un po' anche me stessa. Ho raccontato le mie origini, ho raccontato la tradizione del liscio, quindi è un film musicale dove c'è un grande cicerone che è Ermanno Cavazzoni, che è uno scrittore che ha scritto il poema dei lunatici e che ha ispirato l'ultimo film di Fellini, e ho raccontato appunto le direzioni nuove verso le quali, grazie a un genio pazzo che è appunto Mirko Mariani e la scheggia impazzita di questo gruppo che a Sanremo ha interpretato anche una canzone, Rosamunda, con una chitarra che si era fatto costruire e che roteava velocissimamente, è diventato un'icona della rete. Ho voluto raccontare la strada che hanno intrapreso, cioè tutta la cultura musicale che c'è in questo gruppo, che parte dalla tradizione folcloristica musicale italiana e arriva molto 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 lontano, attraversa lo spazio, arriva alle stelle, proprio per la cultura musicale di questo musicista che è Mirko Mariani, che ha un laboratorio, credo che dovesse collegarsi con noi dall'Abotron. È un laboratorio che contiene strumenti straordinari, dal mellotron all'ondioline, uno dei più importanti laboratori di strumenti in Europa. Questo è stato il film, e in questo film poi ci sono grandi musicisti che omaggiano gli Extraliscio, non è il contrario, perché c'è Giovanotti che racconta tutta la forza di questo gruppo e che ha chiesto loro di trasformare il suo rap, una canzone molto bella, in un valzer. C'è Biagio Antonacci che è in una posizione di ascolto e di ammirazione degli Extraliscio, c'è Vasco Brondi, c'è Bianconi, il leader dei Baustelle, c'è insomma un universo musicale, oltre che anche una parte di animazione, capitolo per capitolo. Si parlava prima di cinema di animazione, e Igor, che ha descritto, è un grande disegnatore nel mondo, è molto noto, è anche regista, ha aperto i vari capitoli raccontando proprio il mondo Extraliscio.
Grazie mille Elisabetta Sgarbi. Thank you so much, Elisabetta Sgarbi. Let's go back on animation, because Elisabetta Sgarbi talk about animation. We have the king of animation, Italian king in the world, Eugenio Straffi, who actually from his factory in Marche region has conquered the world with the wings. Now the wings are a big deal also in live action, considering, as I said, that the wings live action is on the top ranking of Netflix. No, Eugenio?
Hello. Hi. Which language we have to use, English or Italian?
We'll speak English.
English. Okay. Yeah, we got this satisfaction that the Wings live action was the second most successful show. They just announced yesterday, but we already knew in 2021 in terms of viewers, with 58 million households that tune in to watch the show. And I mean, for us, it's an amazing result because it's a European production. It's Italian, done in Ireland, and you know, this opened the way to new content which can be global, even not necessarily coming from Hollywood.
Absolutely. But thinking about people that conquer Hollywood, of course, we have Luca Barbareschi, who actually has been going back and forth in Los Angeles with the television, with cinema, and now is also producing, since the last movie his friend Roman Polanski, who actually cannot go to Los Angeles for the reason we know, but still is alive as a director thanks to Luca Barbareschi. So I know that Luca Barbareschi is still now working with Maestro Polanski. I know that you're working right now, no, Luca? On
you need to turn on the microphone, please.
Hi, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Anyway, thank you for having me. Thank you. I'm so proud to be with such big stars. And Paolo is a good friend and is a fantastic director. And I never met Gino Straffi, but I'm a big admirer of him. And I'm so proud when I see such huge success, all over the world with Italian brand. So I'm working on the new romance movie. We finish, of course, J'accuse, and I hope one day America will be able to see it because, it's very sad what's going on now. The censorship on art is very stupid. So I hope J'accuse will join the American audience very soon. I'm working with Skolimowski as well. We're preparing the new Woody Allen movie and the Kusturica movie, plus a lot of stuff. We are a full Italian 100% production. It's called Eliseo Entertainment with 100 people working. So I'm very proud that, all the talent that develops stories and everything else comes from Italians. I think we are good and we should be proud of it and maybe stick together more when we go abroad like fashion business does, in good and healthy competition, but still, thinking that we are Italians. I know how much effort Straffi did to reach the success he has now. Now he built it step by step. I know Paolo, how much work he does in his movies. So I'm really proud to be part of a good team. And hopefully I want to thank Pascal because, you work so much on this festival and it's really sad we cannot be with you at the Chinese theater like 2 years ago when I brought 3 movies of mine and it was very exciting. And you gave me a great chance. So thank you, and thank you, Elisabetta. Elisabetta is a genius. You all know Elisabetta Sgarbi. Elisabetta is fantastic and very clever and multitask. So, and I can say hello to Pino Insegno, that is an old friend and a fantastic actor. And so we are a good gang, we should be the new Rat Pack.
That's nice. So, where is Paolo Genovese? We lost Paolo? Where is Paolo?
I'm here.
Yeah, but they hided you. They have to hide me, not you. Okay.
There we are.
Okay, there we are. Gorgeous and talented director. The Italian sex. We have 4 Italian sex symbol. The best one is Pino Insegno. So,
by the way, Pascal, I forgot one thing. Gino,
yes.
You know that it's very funny that we meet through internet, through the world. And my office is next door to your office. We are both in Via Nicotera. So maybe one day we can meet downstairs. I just saw, because you're Rainbow and then is entertainment, we are next. So it's very fun. I met you through internet and we are very, very close.
Eugenio, you have to switch on the...
I think we bump into each other sometimes, but not really for a proper meeting. But anyway, I'll take my time to go and find you next time in Rome because I think that you've shown a lot of good production, good quality, good intention, and I just recently hear you also one of these talk show about the COVID situation and the entertainment system and all, and I totally agree with what your view of what is happening, what should be done. So I'm happy to know you better and share some vision with you.
You know that now there is a lot of young producers that are ganging up against political correctness. A lot of actors, a lot of producers, a lot of people, because I think otherwise this is a domino effect. We're all gonna die out of stupidity.
Paolo Genovese, against all odds, you have one movie on the table ready to be seen, Superheroes. Alessandro Borghi and Jasmine Trinca. And then Against All Odds, you are been shooting. I don't know if you finished yet. Another movie recently. What's the title of it?
Yes, I just finished the new movie. The title is First Day of My Life. And it's really strange to have finished 2 movies in the box and have to wait for release these 2 stories. But I think in this moment, we have to wait for the reopening of the movie theater.
Yeah, so it's you are the one that says that thank God the movie has to be seen first theatrical and then on the platforms.
Oh, yes, not for all the movie. It's a director choice. In this moment, I thought about these 2 stories for the movie theater. And so I would like to show in the movie theater. And I think it's also important in this moment for the distribution, for the owners of the theaters to will give as soon as they will open again a lot of new good movie. So it's important to wait in this moment. I understand that in certain case it's interesting to release in the platform, but when it's possible, I prefer wait for the reopening.
No, very good, and that should be coming soon because they'll be opening up the cinemas here in Italia within about a month. It seems like.
Yes. Yes.
So, but I want to ask Pino a question because Pino, Luke, I've known from about 30 years ago. But Pino also, when I first came to Italy, it was Pino who almost greeted me there with Premiata Dita, and because you guys were making a little fun of us. But I congratulate you on your career in doppiaggio.
Yes, dubbing man. Yes, I asked to my friend, old friend Luca Barbareschi, to translate in a good English my English. And tanto saluto tanto il mio gemello lontana perché io e Paolo Genovese un po', cioè sarà che ci assomigliamo un po'.
He says hello to everybody because he thinks he looks like Paolo Genovese.
Thank you so much, Luca.
I love to dub Pino Insegno. Nobody ever dubbed Pino Insegno. We'll dub it now.
So let's explain, Luca. You are the best to explain to our American audience who is Pino Insegno.
Yes. Pino Insegno, besides being a great comedian and a very good pal, Pino dubs American movies. You might be horrified, but I must say that thanks to Pino, a lot of horrible American movies look better because he's more sexy than a lot of American actors. So his voice made women really freaking out because he said, "Oh my God, this voice," you know. And then they meet Pino, and eventually they fall in love with Pino. So he's a very lucky man.
I put my voice into the English or America or Japanese body, and they give me his body because it's very difficult to dub Jamie Foxx in Ray or dub Jamie Foxx in Django. It's very different way. Like Viggo Mortensen from Lord of the Rings until Green Book in Italian, American Italian, and I put my Sicilian way to dub into Viggo. And Viggo said to me, "Thank you for give to my character the Italian language because it's very
let me 1 second. Sorry, 1 second. I have to tell something, Luca.
Pino Insegno is 600 years old. He can play from 2 years old till 600. You know, he's an avatar.
Non lo dire. No,
let me tell you something, guys. So
it's not true. I have 4 children, male children.
Liar, it's not true. You have 400 children.
It's not mine. No, it's not mine.
Let me tell you something, Pino. Let me tell something to our American audience. Pino might win the Oscar Sunday because you should know that he is also the voice of Sacha Baron Cohen, who actually is nominated for the Trial of the Chicago 7. So, considering that we honored the director, possiamo vedere Aaron Sorkin. We try, so we're gonna make you a gift because you have been doubling Sacha Baron Cohen in Borat. I hate you for that because you ruined your reputation doing Borat.
See, from Ali G to Borat to Bruno to the dictator, and he changed his voice every time. It's very typical from wow, mio nome è Borat to Bruno. Oh, ciao Bruno, il dittatore che speak in Arab. Or now it's in a serious way, like Hugo Cabret or Alice attraverso lo specchio. Now in a Trial of Chicago 7 is very real voice, simple voice, because he's a standing man, and I am a standing man. And from Borat to Trial of Chicago 7, I simplify my voice. And it's a very beautiful film, wonderful film. And now the latest film of Viggo Mortensen, Falling, is very emotional. This battle against his father from his homosexuality, and battle against Republican father. È very bellissimo, un film meraviglioso, Falling.
So to show Eugenio Straffi, Luca Barbareschi, and Paolo Genovese that you are a good company, look at this.
Thank you, Capri World Institute, and their very prestigious board, chaired by producers Tony Ranese and Andrea Ervolino, and the festival's director, Pascal Vicedomini. Thank you for honoring the Trial of the Chicago 7 with the Capri Hollywood Award Fest Film of the Year, as well as the Los Angeles Italia Best Movie of the Year. It's an honor, and I thank you on behalf of everyone involved with the film. I wish everyone a great year ahead and continued health, well-being, and happiness for all of us as we navigate 2021.
So you see, guys, we are considered by Aaron Sorkin. So Pino Insegno, give me the lei.
Volevo dire una cosa, tanto il mio amico Luca mi traduce. Volevo dire che devo andare a dare da mangiare a uno dei bambini, e volevo dire che il mio nome in inglese è più affascinante perché Pino Insegno in inglese è Joe I Teach.
See, we want to translate. His name translated is Joe I Teach. So and he has to go to breastfeed his son, because Pino Insegno can breastfeed now one of his 100 sons, and that's a miracle because Pino is even a woman, so that's very politically correct.
Luca, don't start, please.
Pino is LGBT, transgender, and midget. He doesn't have any legs. You can tell.
Thank you.
It's very short.
My best friend, Luca Barbareschi, ladies and gentlemen.
Eugenio, tell us.
Quanto prima.
Eugenio, tell us, how could you make this miracle to make the live action movie of the Wings become one of the most ranked Italian global movie ever, because considering Netflix is a global platform?
But I believe that we have leveraged on the 17 years of building TV series and animated movies. And so I also probably personally underestimate the millions and millions of fans which were waiting for a live action adaptation, because I always want to do it, better than anyone, Pascal, that I had the idea that there was this great wish from the fan to see the Wings in a live action with young adult stories and all this. But at the end of the day, you never know how many of them really to remember the Wings from their childhood or whatever. And we did our best to adapt it for the kind of target. But at the end of the day, we realized during the period that there was this incredible, amazing, and for me very, very touching millions of fans. Imagine in Brazil, there was a competition on TikTok with the wife of Neymar, many other models and famous celebrities, which started to make the dance choreography on the first opening song of the Wings, which is like a national hymn for many young girls on the 20 to 30 years old. And there was 3 million of video subscribed, something unbelievable, only in Brazil. And so we start to understand that there was really this huge anticipation. And in fact, the number that is even more amazing, and is the record of Netflix ever since the platform started, is the number of viewers in the first 10 days of the launch. Wings live action has done the record ever on Netflix with 47 million viewers in the first 10 days. Bridgerton did 31 million.
Good.
Viva l'Italia! Viva l'Italia!
Kind of anticipation that it was. So it's all thanks to the fan base. What can I say? It's all of them. We have pampered them, nurtured them, but we owe them everything that Wings is today and will continue to be. And now, by the way, is the time to start thinking to the big Hollywood movie of Wings, the 100 million movie, because with a base of 48 million, which has seen it immediately on Netflix, without China, which is a huge market that there's no Netflix. So imagine how many tickets you will sell when you will do a big budget kind of Harry Potter movie of Wings in the next few years.
Congratulations, Eugenio. Really, you are a genius. But also Paolo Genovese is a genius because he created the most remaked movie ever for an Italian production. Perfect Strangers, Perfetti Sconosciuti. So, Paolo, do you have anxiety when a new movie of yours comes out? Because considering that you are now one of the directors most expected around the world.
But it's very curious because no one of us expected this kind of goal. No, when we released Perfect Strangers, immediately a lot of production company, foreign production company, asked to us for the remake or for the release. You know, we released it in 80 countries. But I think because it's a very international story, Perfect Strangers, and it's a story that each one country wanna change and wanna product with their own actor and actress. But the key of the success, I think, is the team. In this moment, the team of how technology and how the web and the cellular phone change in deep our life. It's the key of the success of this movie. And last week, they just finished the remake number 21 in the Arabian one.
So, Luca, you are another one of these genius. Actually, Luca is out? Okay. So,
no, I'm here. I have a bad connection with the images, so I just turn down the camera. Otherwise, I lose contact because I'm in a place with bad connection. I listen.
You are in your bedroom. I saw you lying on the bed.
No, but my bedroom is under the floor, so it's
no, I can see just a black, two black lines. So I keep going with the Paolo because it's the only one very well. Okay, so Paolo, when Luca is back, you tell me also. Paolo.
No, I'm back. I'm here. If you want to talk, I
can't talk, but I have to see you. If I don't see you and the people can't see you,
I move from here. Speak with Paolo and I move away.
No, you don't go. We want you, but you need to show your face. We cannot talk with you.
Mi devo spostare da dove sono. One second.
Vai, fai sto sacrificio, vai, make this sacrifice. So no, Paolo, how difficult for you was to shoot this recent movie that you did? Can you tell us the cast and the title again?
The title is First Day of My Life, and the cast is Tony Servillo and Valerio Mastrandrea, Margherita Bui, Sara Serraiocco is the mayor. Then there is a lot of some other actors, and it was very, very, very difficult because the lockdown. We shoot in this situation, which every morning we arrive on the set and with finger crossed and hope that nobody had the COVID, because and we was very, very lucky because we finished the movie without no one case, COVID case, but there is a lot of production in Italy that have to stop the production due to COVID. And it's really uncomfortable when you arrive every day on the set and you don't know if you will go again the next day. So I really hope this situation will stop. And then another thing, you know, when you shoot a movie, the set is a big family. There is a lot of friends. There is a lot of person that you love this person. And it's the first time that we shoot with the mask. So you can see people smiling. You can see nothing. You see a lot of black or white mask. And sometimes you didn't recognize who is who. And in a set and where I was able to laugh and touch people and speak nearby other person, to shoot in this atmosphere, it's really uncomfortable. It's really sad for certain point of view.
So,
sono qua,
ma non ti vedo, Luca.
Adesso mi vedi.
Okay. Yes, okay, perfect. So let me say welcome to another guy that is a miracle man who actually shot his movie after 3 years living in Siberia. Gianfranco Rosi, who actually stole the opportunity to Paolo Genovese with Fire at Sea to represent Italy at the Oscar, because Fire at Sea 2017 was chosen by the commission of the Italian Academy to represent Italy in the same year of the Perfect Strangers. This year also again Gianfranco Rosi represented Italy with the Notturno that he did after 3 years of work in Syria. I mean, you had your own lockdown.
Ciao.
Yes.
Oh, no, Mr. Rosi.
I had a long lockdown, a self-inflicted lockdown. I was 3 years in Middle East, and somehow with the real lockdown, I felt like this incredible sense of suspension that you know, it's a daily condition, unfortunately, for the people that they live the consequences of war on that border, which are in Syria. I was in Syria, I was in Iraq, I was in Kurdistan, I was in Lebanon. And then I was able to understand somehow the film when I was editing during the lockdown, and that sense of a future that is suspended was an experience that was becoming a transversal experience throughout the world. And in fact, I think that Notturno somehow gives very much a sense of this unknown towards the future. Today, it's a very important day. There was a summit, we were talking before, on the climate, and the situation is not good at all. You know, if we don't start with the politics to take real choices, I don't think we have much hope towards the future. What's happening right now in India is terrible. The way we are somehow putting all the vaccine politics is extremely wrong. We are just thinking about ourselves. We don't know the consequence of the rest of the world that doesn't have access to the vaccine. In Middle East, people, they are not having vaccination. And this is politics doesn't change pace. I think the future is going to be tough. And unfortunately, we don't learn. This is the problem. We're thinking that we're able to learn, but I see that there's a moment of really darkness in front of us.
Well, Nocturna is showing at the Los Angeles Festival in the cinema, but I want to ask you, what is attracting your attention now as a subject? Is it the climate? What are you looking at now as a filmmaker?
No, right now, after 4 years of work in that film, I'm in New York right now. I'm writing my new project, and I have to deal with a lot of things. I was not coming to New York since 4 years, so right now I'm in New York. I don't know. Now, in this moment, I need to take a break, and I need to forget about it, to process somehow that film. That film was an extreme full immersion on a world that was very difficult to portray and to understand and to make a film. It was a full engagement, and I still didn't process the film because after the editing, the film started, went like on the route to so many festivals, and then the Oscar madness start, and basically only now I'm able to take a break and try to find a distance. Without distance, it's hard to think about a new project, you know. So I have to, every film I do, I have to forget it completely, and then every film I start has to be a new beginning for me. So I do need to process all this to cut away those 4 years, which I have a bit of post-traumatic syndrome in this moment, because as I say, I still didn't metabolize all that. And so that's what I need right now, you know, to detach myself. I keep writing here and there. I'm looking for a new story to tell. I have a pattern which I choose right now, but it's too early to talk about it. But of course, climate is something that is involving every one of us. You know, today probably would have been a fantastic day if there were all over the world, instead of having this marathon online, all over, if we were able to switch for one day, telephone, photograph, computer, all kind of devices, I think would give a contribution to the climate, because we forget that every single picture we keep in storage in this so-called cloud, which is such an abstract and beautiful idea. Those clouds are immense spaces in the desert, underwater, the things that in order to be cooled down, they need billions of meter cube of water, and we forget that every single picture, every single mail that we send, every single thing that we store, it's an enormous impact towards the climate. So maybe today should have been like a good day to switch off our computer and our obsession with all the media, and maybe have a day of silence and of blackout from everything. I think would have a good impact, and maybe a good lesson.
Well, unfortunately, we will have to go on the whole week with the Los Angeles Italia Film Festival, also seeing your film online. It's Nocturna is showing also online, yes? Yes. So, but we'll wait until Monday.
Luca, let me ask you a question. Yesterday, I made this thought with Billy August. I said him how is for him changing the way to imagine a movie, considering that most of the time this feature film will not go theatrical, and maybe will go directly on the platforms. This is a good issue. This is a good argument that can make us include in the conversation also the CEO of Medusa, Giampaolo Letta, who just reached us, an international journalist, an Irish gentleman who lives in Paris, known worldwide, such as Godfrey Dini, and we're also expecting Scott Feinberg from the Hollywood Reporter, who's here. So let's, Luca, what do you think? How will affect this new situation of the domination of the platforms into the creativity of the authors? I can't hear you.
You're on mute, Luca.
Luca.
I think the movies will always be it's just a change of technology. So I don't agree when people say, you know, that things are bad. Things will be better in a way because thank God technology exists. I'm not against technology. I don't agree with what Rosi said because I think that we are talking now.
I'm not against technology. I just say for one day.
I know. Can I talk now? You talk for 10 minutes. I just say answer to what I think.
I'm not against technology. I'm not against technology.
I'm happy we have phone. I'm happy we have everything going on. And I think that somehow things will change because before we used to take the water in the pound. Now we have, you know, water coming in the house. So it's just a matter of technology. All technology changed creativity, not vice versa. You know, from Gutenberg till now, it's technology that moves creativity. So I think we have beautiful chances to do fantastic things, to reach billions of people all over the world. And I'm very happy to what's going to happen. I think we should take a chance of what COVID gave us. Very few people think about the opportunity of this crisis to rethink the old distribution system, to rethink a lot of stuff. So that's what I think. I must run because I have people here in the house and I must take care of them, okay?
Thank you so much, Luca, for your time.
Bye.
Giampaolo Letta, how is this pandemic changing the business from your point of view?
Hello, everybody, first of all. But this is the question. It's a big question. I think that movies that are made for cinema will remain for cinema because the theater, it will remain central and critical to see a movie that is made for theater. Said that, I don't think that is a battle, a war platform against cinema because we can see a movie, watch a movie from our couch in our house. And in terms of creativity, I don't think that the platform, the technology could affect the way the author, the director can create a movie. But I repeat, in my opinion, theater, the way to see and to enjoy to see a movie in a theater with a large screen, the sound, and mostly the social aspect that maybe we actually not maybe, we definitely forget for a while. I hope just for a while, a very long while, since it's been more than 1 year that we cannot attend the theaters, but it is something unique. And I'm convinced that what we are living now will boost the enjoyment to go to see a movie in a theater, and we will run. People will run to theater to see a movie in a theater.
Scott Feinberg, welcome to Los Angeles, Italy. I'm so happy to have you. You are, for me, a very, very important segment of the business. You are one of the most appreciated journalists in Hollywood. You are Mr. Oscar for the Hollywood Reporter. You are Mr. Award. So yesterday we had George Pennacchio, one of the anchormen of the ABC, telling us that this year Oscar will be very different from the past. It won't be old at the Dolby Theater, but will be in different locations in Los Angeles. We know that Laura Pausini will be singing in the new Hollywood Museum designed by Architetto Renzo Piano. So this is very cool. But we don't know much. We know that the Dolby Theater will be just for people to enjoy the show, doctors.
Yes, the first responders will be there in the audience. It's certainly socially distanced, and that's a great way to appreciate them. But the actual show will be done, as I understand it, down at Union Station, correct?
Yes, but also before this, so you answer to all the questions. I'm very proud, Scott, because I have to tell you, when we were planning Los Angeles, Italia, I had the Chinese theater people begging me to make the festival happen also this year, physical. They said, after Godzilla, we are expecting Los Angeles, Italia, in order to create some enthusiasm in Hollywood. So this is something that we created all together with Eugenio, with Paolo, who actually have been so many times with me. I remember with Eugenio, we honored for the first time with the Jack Valenti Award Al Pacino, and then he honored Quentin Tarantino. With Paolo, he was a pioneer, came so many times. And so tell us about the feeling in Hollywood, and then we will also include Yaniv Raz, a very great, another great friend of mine, a young and talented director, Israeli originally, but living in Los Angeles. Go ahead, Scott.
Yeah, can you apologize me? I need to go. Sorry.
Okay, Gino, we love you. God bless you and the Wings.
Thank you. Good luck for the next days. Bye. Ciao. Paolo. Ciao.
Ciao,
Go,
Gino.
Scott.
So, no, thank you very much. Great to see you, Pascal. Nice to see everyone else. I've been listening. It's a interesting conversation. And yeah, it's going to be an Oscars that is unlike any other one that any of us have seen or hopefully ever will see. I hope we never go through this again. But it's, I think they're going to make the best of it. At the train station, the very historic Union Station, we're going to have most of the nominees and including the performers who, you know, Laura and Diane Warren, that's all pre-recorded at the museum. So they'll be there with everybody else at the Union Station on Sunday night. And I think that the feeling here is upbeat. You know, there's still obviously a lot of COVID problems in America overall, but in Los Angeles and New York and most metropolitan areas of the country, people are taking the vaccine seriously. We've had, you know, I think we just crossed 200 million people who have taken it in this country. So we're very fortunate to have that kind of access. We're very unfortunate to have a lot of morons in this country who are not taking it, even though they could. But I think in Los Angeles, people are being very safe and smart, and the Academy is also being very cautious because they don't want to cause a super spreader event. So they are testing every person who's going to be there on Sunday will have been tested 3 times at least before by the Academy in the week leading up to the show. They're going to be temperature checked upon arrival. They're going to be to some degree socially distanced in this outdoor area at the train station, where only 1/3 of the nominees and their guests will be in the main room at any given time. The rest of them will be in one of 2 courtyards on the sides of it. So look, I mean, we cross our fingers and hope it goes well, and that everyone is smart and safe.
Yes. So you have the feeling that is going to be what type of event, Scott?
I mean, Steven Soderbergh's obviously one of the most creative people in this business. I think that he and his producer Stacey Sher, she's produced many of his movies. She's a co-producer with him of the telecast. They're very talented people. We've got Jesse Collins as the 3rd producer, who also already this year produced the Super Bowl halftime show and the Grammys, 2 of the more successful COVID era live events. So I think they're going to do probably as well as anyone can do with this. But look, no matter what they do, the reality is that Oscars ratings on TV are generally not related to the host or the length of the show or how good the show is. It's about whether or not people feel invested in the top nominees. And the problem is that, you know, very few people in the real world have seen many of these movies this year. They've been available on streaming services, but most people see movies in movie theaters still. and especially art house type movies like these. And so I think no matter what they do, we're probably looking at the lowest rated Oscars ever since TV started doing it in the 50s. But that's sort of unavoidable.
Scott, now considering you are Mr. Forecast, Mr. Oscar for the Hollywood Reporter, we, as you know, we have some interest this year. Could you tell us what is your forecast for Laura Pausini and Diane Warren and Nicolai Iardi for the song EOC Scene, and then also for the costume designer nominated for Pinocchio, Massimo Cantini Parrini, and for the makeup and hairstyle of Pinocchio again, Mark Coulier, and the Italians, Francesco Pegoretti and Daria Colli. So, do you think that Italy can celebrate something Sunday?
I think it's probably not going to happen for costume or makeup, I'm sorry to say, just because in those categories, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom is a movie that is very sort of flashy in those areas. And unfortunately, I'm not sure in the Academy how widely seen Pinocchio has been. Now, this is just the reality of the situation. It's not a fair thing in the sense that there's no way to make sure that everybody's watched all the nominees before they vote, but this has always been the problem. So in those, I hate to be a little disappointing, but I will say, I think there is an excellent chance for Laura Pausini and Diane Warren. Diane is the most nominated person in the history of the Oscars, the most nominated woman to not have won yet. This is her 12th nomination. She's never won. But this year, the Best Original Song category is very sort of evenly divided. There's no obvious front runner, no obvious favorite. And I think people by this point are now becoming clear about the fact that, first of all, the song is very good. It won the Golden Globe already. But additionally, they do realize it's like, how long are you going to make Diane wait? And she and Laura have a nice history together. And I think that it could go to any of those songs, but my personal hunch is that this may be the year for Diane, which would mean it's also the year for Laura. I hope that's the case.
This is a very good news, Scott. So, Godfrey, did you hear what Scott Feinberg said? What's your feeling? Switch on the phone. Godfrey, I can't hear you. You should shut and reopen.
It looks like it's on mute.
You are on mute. The microphone.
Now you can hear me.
Now,
yes, I can hear you. Yes, Godfrey.
I was very interested in what you had to say about Pinocchio. Obviously, the Italians have a fantastic tradition in costume design. I think I'm right in saying that Elena Caronero has won it more than anyone, from Barry Lyndon to more recent efforts. I thought it was a fantastic film, and I thought the costumes were brilliant. I also thought that Matteo Garrone did a wonderful job. It's interesting in Paris, it's the fashion capital of the planet, that so many of all of the shows have basically been cancelled in Milan, London, Paris, New York, and people have made video shows, and sometimes they've been very good and sometimes they've been a bit lame, but often they've used very talented designers. Gus Van Zandt made a TV series for Gucci, or Jim Jarmusch just shot a video for Yves Saint Laurent with Julianne Moore was in it. But the most successful by far was Matteo Garrone's 2 movies for Christian Dior. He made an absolutely fantastic movie. I'd recommend you all to see Teatro della Mode, shot in ancient Rome last summer. And it was based on the idea of during the Second World War, because there were no fashion shows, it was the last time there were no fashion shows, people had to make little kind of 1-foot-high dolls and make the collections on those dolls and send them around to people. It was the only way you could create fashion. And after the war, those collection of dolls became a movable exhibition that went to Texas and Tokyo and New York. So the creative director of Dior, an Italian, a Roman woman, came up with the idea, and they made the movie based on that. It's an absolute tour de force of a film. And I'd also say congratulations, Pascal, for yet another very interesting and rich collection for the Italian cinema in Los Angeles. You did a great job. I mean, and you know, from this movie, The Truffle Hunters, Scott, any chance of a documentary?
So, you know, it's a fantastic movie, and I was very disappointed they didn't end up nominating it, unfortunately, for the Oscar. But I would have given it the award. I thought it was great.
Yeah, you know,
I saw was better. Excuse me. I think Notturno was better. Gianfranco.
Excuse me.
Gianfranco.
That's right,
Gianfranco. Was this Oscar race this year, Gianfranco? How tough was
well, Gianfranco should have been in both categories. Absolutely.
You know, it's hard to catch twice the nomination. We were lucky 4 years ago. This time we arrived on the short list.
Yeah.
It was an enormous job to arrive to the short list. People think that it's something that happened by chance, but there is so much work in the back. I remember starting the campaign in Toronto, Telluride, and then so it's like 6 months basically of Zoom every day, Zoom. We didn't have the budget that you know, the big platform had from Netflix, Amazon, and things. So that's we have to go door to door basically. So Zoom was an exhausting process this year. So I mean, arriving to the shortlist means nothing, because the shortlist is not a value of that. But you know, it was a long journey. And it was a tough year and very competitive year, especially in documentary. It was extremely, I mean, a lot of fantastic film, they didn't reach the nominee this year. And it was a bit disappointed to see great movie left out, you know, from that. I think Dick Johnson Is Dead was a fantastic film, and it didn't arrive there. So it was a tough year for documentary. It's always been like that. And but already, it's not really satisfaction, but arriving to the 10th was an enormous job, and the important thing is like the film now has its own life and is there, and has its own future open. So the film has been distributed extremely well by Neon, and they're very happy. There was a retrospective here in New York with all the film, and yes, unfortunately the film didn't have a screen in a big theater, but that's what this year we have to accept. I imagine how many films that were made that they didn't even came out this year, because if you think that Toronto, which usually have 600 movies, this year there were only 150 films. London Film Festival, they have only 70 films. Venice, they have 80 films. Telluride, they have 25 films this year. London had 30 films. So I imagine the enormous amount of film that were made, they didn't have even the chance to be seen, and this is really heartbreaking for how many colleagues that they didn't have that chance of being there in this crazy year. So my thought goes often to the one that, you know, they put years to make a movie and suddenly the film disappear completely.
Yeah.
Paolo Genovese, you have 2 movies coming up. Which one could race for the Oscar? So we start telling to Scott Feinberg from now, because we need his support for the next future. So you have superheroes, and then
first day of my life.
The first day of my life. So which one is
more
an award movie?
Yes, we speak about 10 minutes ago that we are waiting.
I just want to interrupt 1 second. Paolo, it's Julius Nasso. I just want to say hello.
Ciao, Julius.
Come stai? Bene? Tutto a posto?
Fine, thanks. Hi, Julius.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Continue. It's a pleasure to see you on here.
Yes, we spoke about to wait for the theatrical, and so now here we have Gianpaolo Letta, and we can wait for the theatrical release thanks to Gianpaolo, thanks to Medusa, because we decided together to wait. So this is for me, it's very important, you know, that Medusa trust in this movie and agree to wait for release in theatrical.
So Gianpaolo, it's always a big challenge when you have such movies and you have to protect theatrical in front of the assault of the popcorn movies, eh?
Yes, and in this case we have two movies in a row with two Paolo's movies, but we are very happy and we are very proud. We are two very different movies from each other, and so we can't wait to go to release the movie. The first one will be Superhero, and hopefully we'll see in the second part of the year when the situation hopefully will be more stable. We hope so, of course, and probably around between November and December, we will decide to release Superhero. Then we'll see beginning of next year, and we don't know. But if I can answer to the question that you made to Paolo, probably first day of my life can have all the I would say all the carte in regola, all the elements to run for Oscar. So we will try next year.
Okay, perfect. So Yaniv, you heard by Scott Feinberg how the Oscar will be. You are a filmmaker. What? So there is a filmmaker and the maestro Steven Soderbergh producing it. What type of movie will be this Oscar night for you?
I have to disappoint you, Pascal. I'm so out of the loop in regard to the Oscars. I've been subsumed in my own little works and my own little life, especially during this pandemic times, that I think I should relegate those tasks to Scott Feinberg, who has much more expertise in this realm than I do. But I think there's something that I would refer to, which I just came in on the small end of hearing the discussion of streaming versus theatrical. And I've had a very interesting experience over the last year, and with the two movies that I'm attached to direct in the coming years with producers and how they want to service these films. My last film came out about 4 or 5 months ago, directly to streaming through, it was initially supposed to be through Paramount, but then Relativity has revived itself and distributed it that way. And we went straight to streaming with it, a small art film. And as you were all saying, the difference in having it released on all of these platforms, and it overperformed what the expectations and everything. It's still, you know, for a filmmaker, for somebody who considers themselves auteur or whatever you want to say these days, it's you know, there's a great disappointment not being able to see it on the big screen. It's, you spend, as you said, you spend years of your life and growing up as somebody who was obsessed with films from the 70s, like a lot of people who are in this business were. You want, you know, there is a cheapening effect to just having people see it on the film on the big screen, and it's less of a you know, you don't get the response of an audience. You just get the response of, you know, text messages and emails telling you that they liked it or what have you. It's not the same. I'm making 2 movies coming up this year. I'm attached to direct, and it's very interesting, just from a perspective of my producers on the 2 different movies, what their intentions are and how things are being distributed now. One is this much larger movie called The Great Umu War, that's starring John Cleese and Rhys Darby and Rob Schneider, and they are, and Village Roadshow is producing it, and they are hell-bent on doing a theatrical release. They don't want to go to streamers. It's a much larger movie, popcorn-y kind of movie, and they don't want to do it with a streamer. I mean, that's not to say that if that's, you know, the result, it will be a bad result. But it's very much an experience that a crowd would enjoy. I have another movie with Milo Ventimiglia, nice Italian for you, starring and producing, and it's a small art art movie, and the intention with that is to go straight to a streamer and not even attempt to go theatrical. So there's, I think, a distinction now that has, and I'm sure all of your guests could speak to this, and Scott could really speak to it. There is going to be, and there was a movement over the last 10, 15 years towards what kind of films are going to be exhibited on the big screen and what kind of films are going to go to streamers. And I'm in an interesting position where I have one of each, and it's very clear to me that the distributors and the producers of my two different films have different intentions because of the content, and the form is going to be, the distribution is going to be dictated by the content and the form now. Which is not to say that the movie I'm doing with Milo, I would love to see it on the big screen. I just don't think, Pacific Theaters just closed down. That's the kind of place that might have shown the ArcLight cinema just closed down, and that's the kind of theater that might have shown at some point, or the Sunset 5, that movie that I would do with Milo. And to get through to the larger theatrical screenings, it's the John Cleese movie, the Rhys Darby movie, is really the kind of thing that I think would be acceptable, and that's why the distributors are pushing for it. So it's a very interesting time to navigate all of this. I'm sorry I don't have any more insight about the Academy Awards, but distribution, I'm drowning in distribution discussions.
No, but it's a very important issue. I mean, it's of course having Scott here and being 3 days far from the Oscar. The question for a director is, what is the feeling that you have in America for this event, considering there is so much, around, which is very, very sad. Julius, so the platforms are taking over. So you have been producing so many successful movies. I called it popcorn movies. So for you, from your point of view, in the future, with the platforms, will be more space for popcorn movies or for genre, ambience movie? What do you think?
Well, the popcorn movies, obviously, there's always going to be a demand in the demographics. Before we produce a film, we look at the demographics. I mean, working at Warner Brothers for 15 years, it's important to understand when you make a movie, who you're making it for, who the audience is. As far as when you say popcorn, do you mean action? What do you mean by popcorn? Or just
I say superheroes, real superheroes. Before was a certain type of movies like Stallone, Schwarzenegger, Bruce Willis, Steven Seagal, and now the Avengers, all the superheroes, no? So for the platforms, more this type of movies than classic and quality.
Well, unfortunately, your standard films to theaters, there's a less demand, because unless you're Transformers, Pinocchio, or any of the Disneys, it's just very hard to put together a $14 to $20 million film to put in the theaters. So my opinion, and what I've been seeing, the trend is that as far as the theatricals, it'll always be the big budget films, but unfortunately the good classic films that were made, I don't think they're going to get a shot at it. I mean, it's just my opinion. I mean, I've had one nomination in one of my films, and I was shortlisted for a documentary with Harry Belafonte. We were 11. Yeah, I mean, look, right now on Netflix, I got the #1 action film, So you have to look at the demographics. You got to look at, if it's a commercial to make money, if it's an art film to get awards. it all has to be planned out with demographics. And there are different models for distribution of those kind of films. You see?
Yes. Scott, recently we had two news. One very sad. The Archlight closed on Sunset. And second news was just yesterday. We read that with the solution of the pandemic, Netflix lost some points in the stock exchange. Means that before with the pandemic, the platform get a big success, now are losing. So what is the future of cinema for your point of view?
Well, I agree with what's been said before, which is that, look, it's just changing. The kinds of movies that even just 20 years ago would have been playing at a place like the ArcLight are now going to go to streaming services. They're the ones that are willing to take a chance on sort of art house movies. That's why we've seen, just so many people who 20 years ago were the cream of the crop of, awards caliber, awards honored people are now doing TV. And the line between the two is blurrier than ever. I mean, people's TVs are getting bigger. There are fewer movie theaters to go to. So it's all, in a way, it's all semantic. But of course, many of us love the movie going experience. And it's heartbreaking that, the ArcLight was my favorite place to see a movie. And I do still think they may get bailed out in some form, that at least some of their venues, I hope, because to have not even in Hollywood proper, a really major art house theater just doesn't seem possible, but we'll see. And then as far as Netflix, I don't think it's really a major deal that they, that their subscribers maybe didn't. I don't think it's that they lost. I think it's that it didn't grow as fast as they had been growing. And that's not surprising considering that in the last few months, just alone since the pandemic, we've gotten, I believe, Disney Plus, Peacock Network, numerous others. So look, there's always going to be more competition, but Netflix is still years ahead of anybody else. And I think that they're not going anywhere anytime soon.
Also, it's spring and it's going to be summer, so people will be more out.
Yeah, right. That's also, it's going to.
No, soon it's going to be summer, so people are going to be more, they're going to be locked in the house.
Who's going to win the Oscar? Nomadland or the...
Wait, we can't hear you, Pascal.
Sorry?
We can't hear you.
Now,
you're breaking up.
Here we are. Do you hear me now? Do you hear us?
Yeah.
Scott, well, Scott, who's going to win? Nomadland or Trial of Chicago 7?
Oh, you guys are going to kill me here with, I mean, I think the smart bet is Nomadland. It's won everything except SAG Award for Best Ensemble, which Nomadland was not ever really even going to be eligible for. It's basically a one-woman movie with some interesting supporting characters. So, I mean, that being said, when there has been a crazy upset in recent decades, the predictor has been the SAG Ensemble Award. That predicted Shakespeare in Love over Saving Private Ryan, Spotlight over The Revenant, Crash over Brokeback Mountain, and then just last year, Parasite over 1917. So, yeah, I think there's a shot for Trial of Chicago 7 because the Academy uses this preferential ballot. It incentivizes kind of a movie that everybody at least, or most people at least like, whereas something like Nomadland could be more, love or hate. But I don't think you could justify picking Trial of Chicago 7 right now as much as you can Nomadland. So that's what, especially also because Nomadland, the director is going to win. That I have no doubt about. The director of Trial of Chicago 7, Aaron Sorkin, isn't even nominated. And usually people don't like to break up those two. But again, the preferential ballot is the wild card here. So short answer, I think Nomadland.
And what about documentaries, Scott?
That's
one. A tough one.
I wanted to tell you, when we spoke last Gianfranco, I don't think that anyone was talking about My Octopus Teacher as even right. It really, it's come on very strong late in this. I think that's the favorite, but you can't count out the early. The early front runners were Time.
It also won the BAFTA, which was a big.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I think honestly, what it might be is that so many of us have been locked inside that it's just nice to see a movie about outside and nature and what, but
on a
who
different
knows?
world.
Yeah, exactly.
Underwater.
Exactly.
What about international movies?
That one I feel very confident is going to be another round. I think it's are you
That's an easy prediction, yeah.
We are going to distribute in Italy.
There you go. Great. Well, I think that I mean, just as a testament to how light that movie is, that also got a Best Director nomination. And I don't think that the other 4 international feature nominees have even been that widely seen, which is, again, it's a shame because you would hope that people would not vote unless they've seen all of them, but the world is not perfect and this is the reality. So I think if people have seen one, it will be another round and many people love it.
The Korean movies.
Paolo, are you still there? Gianfranco, you were very close.
I think Pascal, your microphone is dead, Pascal.
Cracking, it's cracking your mic.
Paolo, are you there? There we go. Paolo, are you there? Here we go.
Yes, Paolo, are you there?
Non so perché non vi riesco a vedere.
Esce e rientra. So what is your feeling, Gianpaolo, about what we said about you with Medusa? You made a big deal with Amazon with your last productions. You just sold directly to Amazon because, of course, the pandemic did not allow Medusa, and as well as all the other Italian distributors like Rai Cinema or Minerva, whatever, to go theatrical. So what is your perception of the future?
More than a perception is a hope, of course, to go back to theaters as soon as possible. And I think the next weeks we will see exactly what will happen, at least what is the perception, at least if people wants to go to a theater, even if in Italy in May, June, July, it's not exactly the right time to go to a cinema. Everybody prefer to go outside, but I think everybody wants to go to cinema. And I think starting from, especially from September, and of course, depending on American and international titles that will be released in July and August, starting from July and August from the major studios, it will be very important to send a message to people that the cinema, the movies are back in theater, great and big movies are back in theaters. And so I'm convinced that people want to go to see movies in theaters. We saw, as you mentioned, last year, three of our movies that were supposed to go to theaters, to Amazon, directly to Amazon, but there was let's say, an emergency exit because of the pandemic crisis, and all the theaters were closed. But we produced mostly for theaters. So next week, theaters in Italy will be opening, and we hope to get back to normality as soon as possible.
I think that Cannes will be very important. That Cannes happens.
Yes,
this will be an extremely important sign of.
You're right. You're right.
So Cannes will determine again the pace of what's going to be the future. You know, this after in the summer. If Cannes, we have to hope that in July we can see Cannes Film Festival happening. That is very, very important sign.
May I ask you a question, Scott?
Sure, of course.
Don't you think in the current context of Black Lives Matter and this trial that ended this week of Denis Chauvin and all these YouTube videos and this whole issue of individual liberty against the cruel power of the state, that groundswell would push trial of the Chicago 7 into the
It certainly won't hurt its chances. I just don't know that I've encountered that many people who think it's that great, it's overall that worthy of a masterpiece or anything. I think that, but again, it has just to play devil's advocate against myself, the largest branch of the Academy is by far the acting branch. And there is no cast with more, there's no movie with with a larger or more impressive group of actors than Trial. So, but I think that maybe 10 years ago, a movie like Trial would have had a better shot, but the Academy has really not only become more diverse because of race and gender, but also internationally. There's been a huge number of people outside of America who have been invited to join. And I'm not sure that this chapter of American history that's covered in Trial of Chicago 7 is as meaningful or interesting to others. And so actually with, what we've seen, that international contingent, I think that made the difference last year with Parasite. I mean, that is the first time we ever had a non-English language movie win Best Picture at the Oscars in 92 years. This year, you wonder if maybe the number 2 votes or sort of the alternate for Nomadland might actually go to a movie like Minari. But also, to come back to your point about the Black Lives Matter and all of that, what's happening now, there's also Judas and the Black Messiah, which is a Best Picture nominee. And so I feel like for the people who are particularly motivated to vote because of the situation of race in America, that almost is more of a statement about, more of a kind of militant statement than Trial.
Also, a film like Collective is exactly what you're saying. It's like probably being pushed so much from European.
Taking on the establishment. Yeah. And, another not as sexy category, but you have to keep an eye on Best Live Action Short. There's a movie called Two Distant Strangers, which is exactly about police brutality, sort of white cop, black innocent guy getting killed. I think that, that will probably win. So it is certainly, though, a good point, though, that Trial is not an untimely movie, even though it's set 50 years in the past.
So Paolo Genovese, what is your feeling right now, considering we're going through this incredible situation, the pandemic? Did anyway it affecting your creativity? Did you get any type of inspiration from this disaster?
Yes, for sure. We have inspiration for this disaster, especially because we stay close at home and we have a lot of time to think. And so I wrote a lot of new stuff. I think a lot. But for me, I don't like to have inspiration about this situation. I'm not excited to write a story about pandemia or about COVID. I have a good feeling to have a slow down time, but I am not interested in this moment to write a story about COVID. I think we in this moment, we want to forget COVID, we want to forget pandemia, and we want to write and watch a totally different kind of story.
So, Yaniv Raza, is in Hollywood, you moved from Israel, is in Hollywood any type of attention for the movies that come from the heart, as it seems, are your movies in front of the movies that are superheroes or I mean any type of family which are done for making a lot of money. So there is a room for intimate movies. What do you think?
Oh, it's a good question. Let me go back for 1 second to your previous question to and answer that. I had a very I was most of the pandemic I was locked down working on a couple TV shows for Stars, which were initiated prior to the pandemic. But something very intimate came out of the pandemic for me, and I think it's kind of an interesting story, and it's a nostalgic story. I had a Zoom reunion with about 10 people that I went to a performing arts camp with 25 years ago in upstate New York. And it was the best time of all of our lives. And I hadn't seen these people in 25 years. And it was incredibly emotionally moving for all of us. And most people had moved on to other professions or addictions or, and you know, family lives and so on and so forth. Only a couple of us stayed in the business, a couple of whom became very famous Broadway composers and actors. And of that Zoom reunion, which was only became a reality because of the pandemic, I was inspired to come up with this reunion, the small reunion movie, which is the one that I'm doing with Milo. And it doesn't specifically speak to COVID or the pandemic, but it was born of the fact that we were all isolated and reaching out nostalgically to the past and to what we remembered as the best times of our lives. And, you know, it has a big chill quality to it. And it's a small, as you said, I write kind of nostalgic and sort of beautiful little movies, which are, as you said, extraordinarily difficult to get made. So that was born of this, which answers part of your question. The other part of your question is there an appetite for it? It's interesting. In television right now, and I've been working in television as much or more as in features over the last eight years and a lot in the last couple of years, there has now changed with all the executives that I talk to are all looking for escapist material. And this speaks to, I'm sorry, I forget the gentleman's name. Is it Giancarlo? No, who was just speaking.
Gianfranco.
Thank you. Gianfranco. Speaking to, there is a really strong appetite for escapism so that we don't necessarily live in the horror. People don't necessarily want, this is what the executives say. I'm not saying that this is what people want, but this is what the reflection of the executives that tell me what they want is that people aren't necessarily looking for a reflection of their misery at the moment and of the trials and tribulations that we're all going for. And that instead they're looking for stuff that is to some degree escapist. Now, whether that means an action movie or as you call them popcorn movies, or whether that means something more beautiful and sentimental is yet to be seen.
We don't have to forget now that there is a fantastic platform. It's called Mubi, and they have an incredible selection of cinema there, and it's really bringing still cinema that you can think, and it's an extremely successful movie. So it's not that people look only for a moment of creativity. I think Mubi is growing fantastically, and you can really find from the Chinese movie, the Indian, Italian, French selection of cinema. It's an incredible, beautiful platform that is growing very, very well right now in London, in England. So there is also,
and you know, and it's interesting. I don't know about you guys, and I mean, I'd be interested in what everybody on this panel would what experience you guys all had during the pandemic. I retreated, instead of watching contemporary stuff, I retreated basically into going to the Criterion collection and some other channels to go escape into movies that were basically, for me, was movies that were made in the 30s and 40s and movies that were made in the 70s. And I spent most of the pandemic just watching these older movies, which are beautifully crafted and which don't get made, to your point, Pascal, don't really get made so much anymore. But that also, I guess, allowed me to live in a different time and escape, at least temporally.
But that's what I mean. A movie that had that kind of movie.
Right. Yeah, there's a great channel here called The Criterion.
I saw film on movie which were impossible to find now. You know, you can see it was fantastic. Kapoor film, they have the incredible selection of Indian cinema. Shyam Benegal film, you know, which you never can see anywhere. So, so there are platforms that somehow they offer that opportunity still, and it's fantastic.
But I mean, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, it's interesting you asked that question. In the pandemic, I ended up reading more novels. I hadn't done it so much.
Me too.
And, reading about things that I missed in a way. I read the Neapolitan Quartet by Elsa Ferrante. So I used to always go to Pascal's festival, or I'd always go to Italy on holiday. I couldn't do that. So, and the novels I tend to read, and had literary value. So the cinema I then started to watch, like you, Ivan, was often back from the 30s and 40s, where you were looking at Hollywood cinema, where you felt there were like 4 or 5 people writing and everyone was like a bullpen writers coming up quick, so it was, the narrative was very strong, you know what I mean? Maybe I've got feeling maybe people will want to see that again in the next couple of years. Maybe.
I was reading Camus' The Plague. It's amazing, by the way. One of my favorites, but perhaps not a great cinema, not a great movie.
One of the beautiful things about this week is the Los Angeles Italia, and also next week they'll be showing on mymovies.it or eventive.org the classic tonight, the Italian Masters with Intesa San Paolo, but an Alberto Sordi movie is playing. These tickets free. So I'm just plugging the festival for you guys who are wanting to see all these movies. There's a lot to see here if you get a chance tonight.
Yes, absolutely, because we have the movie starting at 4 o'clock at Chinese Theater. Today we show Hidden Away, one of the top movie of the past year, who actually is running for so many Davide di Donatello, which is the Italian Oscar, let's call it. And then we have also an amazing documentary dedicated to an iconic Italian poet of music, Paolo Conte, live at Chinese Theater. Then, of course, as Daniel Mevica said, we have a big offer daily dedicated to America on eventive.org and My Movies. And some of these shortcut movies are being also available in Italy, because you have to know that through the platform of filmfreeway.com, we selected so many movies by young directors who actually applied for being with us. The same happened for Capri Hollywood Festival, the other bridge of this ideal tower that we created between Italy and America. We selected movies by a request of 1,600 shortcut by 95 countries. So can you believe, Gianpaolo, that Capri Hollywood is popular in 95 countries? And I also want to ask this to Scott Feinberg.
I can believe, because you are so strong and you're so powerful. Now you are everywhere in the world. So we are very happy and very proud that you bring the Italian flag all around the world. I have to.
The answer I was expecting, This was not the answer I wasn't expecting. I mean, Italy, Capri Hollywood is a magic brand, not me. I mean, the combination of the two. You have to know, Godfrey, that when I started Capri Hollywood in 1995, I had a friend called Jack Lang, who actually was a past minister of culture, who was complaining to me, says, Pascal, why do you want to be so vulgar? You cannot match the name of Capri with Hollywood. It is not, they don't match. Capri is beautiful, classy, Hollywood is vulgar. I said, listen, Jack, I appreciate your advisement, but this is a perfect combination because Hollywood is classy as well as Capri, and they will work together as well. So, could you believe, Scott, that Capri Hollywood? I mean, I give you the key to go into the page of Capri Hollywood to see all the countries where people can write from for applying. Can you believe, Scott?
I can't. I agree entirely with Gianpaolo. I'm not surprised at all. This is the result of a lot of years of what you've been building, and I think we would be less surprised if we had to be doing it from our computers for the last few years. I think it's just the only reason it might be surprising to anyone is just that this is the first time we're doing it this way. But I think anyone who's been there and anyone who's worked with you understands that it's all about a international network of people who love Italian culture and cinema, and can't wait to get back there as soon as possible.
Absolutely. I want to just say one more sentence about it. Since Capri Hollywood, my festival life changed because, of course, it's very important to be physical in the location. We make the festival, so Capri, in the summer, Ischia, and before the Oscar, Los Angeles. But it won't be the same as the past because we will be always two festivals, one physical and one digital, because the number you can reach and the promotion you can make to the Italian cinema is incredible through this technology. So considering we work to promote our authors, we have to make both festivals. Do you agree?
It'll definitely bring in more of an audience. But I wanted to ask you, what's the current plan? How are you proceeding with the assumption that you will do Ischia in the summer, or how's it looking right now?
Yes, okay. Now I want to tell you, and you can spread out the voice in Hollywood, that we are working very well. We are under good hands of Premier Mario Draghi, who's working very well, and I'm sure that by July 1st, things will get much, much better, and people can come to Italy. I'm very happy to say that because today we read on the news some lines that American media are suggesting to don't go to Italy because of the pandemic yet. Okay, this is not the way to approach the situation. We think that by July 1st, you can schedule your trip to Italy and observing safely all the security rules that they're giving out. Same way we are making the festival in Los Angeles, in Hollywood, in Chinese theater. We follow a strict protocol of the health minister of America with making the festival in Los Angeles. You can come to Italy and we're going to have an amazing Ischia Global Festival, July 18 to 25.
As you know, Pascal, it's always straight ahead, always full speed ahead. But the truth is also that the vaccinations are picking up here. Things are opening up. Restaurants are opening up next week. So things are both opening up and we're getting a higher vaccination level. So this gives us all the confidence that at the beginning of July, you should be able to come here in Italy and enjoy yourselves. And we'll have another conversation like we've had here today, but in person.
Okay, so thank you so much to all of you for your patience. Congratulations to Paolo Genovese, Gianfranco Rosi. Show the face, please. Yaniv Ratz, thank you so much for your friendship. To Gianpaolo Letta, Godfrey Dini, and let me tell also on the top to my brother Scott Feinberg, who I can't wait to have in Ischia again. And I want to close with you. I want you to see this little piece that we just received by a maestro that I hope, Scott, you're going to bring to Ischia in the summer. Enjoy.
Thank you, Capri World Institute, and their very prestigious board, chaired by producers Tony Ranese and Andrea Ervolino, and the festival's director, Pascal Vicedomini. Thank you for honoring the trial of the Chicago 7 with the Capri Hollywood Award Fest Film of the Year, as well as the Los Angeles Italia Best Movie of the Year. It's an honor, and I thank you on behalf of everyone involved with the film. I wish everyone a great year ahead and continued health, well-being, and happiness for all of us as we navigate 2021.
And we wish you to win a few awards on Sunday night, Mr. Aaron Sorkin. Thank you, Daniel Wegwinger.
Thank you, Pascal. And
enjoy.
Buonasera e buongiorno.